Good afternoon, good morning, good night, whatever it is, whatever time you were watching this particular Telegram. It's been a while. I'm sorry. Life kicks in, school kicks in, but thankfully I'm done with school and we are back now in the beautiful, warm state of California. But this particular night, morning, evening, whenever you're watching this, I wanted to share with you a thought that I found to be very, very interesting, perspicacious, perhaps sagacious, perhaps, or even transformative. I hope transformative. And that is this: circumstances alter conditions, or circumstances change the relation of things. You know, there's something about circumstances in our life. They have a way to change the direction that we were going. And sometimes, especially at the end of this year, we find that to be a little bit discouraging. Everything was going good, everything was fantastic, our family was good, our hopes were good, our dreams were good, and then all of a sudden something happened that derailed our plans. A circumstance, death in a family, death of a loved one, loss of job, whatever the case may be, or perhaps you're a student and you failed a particular class and you have to take it again. Circumstances alter conditions. And while we sit here and think about the last 2 days of 2017, and we think about the fact that, you know, sometimes circumstances aren't that very good, and I don't know where God is, and I don't know what He's doing, I don't know what He's doing with my life, and we look at the circumstances that alter our conditions, alter our lives as something bad. But what if they're not bad? What if they're actually good? What if they're actually good for you? The Bible tells us something very interesting in the book of Romans chapter 8 verse 28. Paul in fact says this in a very profound way. He says in verse 28 of Romans chapter 8, he says the following: "And we know that all things work together for good to them that love God, to them who are called according to His purpose." I thought the same thing when I read that. I was like, all things work together for good? What about the death of a loved one? What about the loss of a job? What about the fact that I just lost my car? What about the fact that we don't have a dryer? What about the fact that I don't have food to feed my family? All things work together for God? Beloved, I submit to you, yes. In fact, that word all in the Greek is panta. For those Greek scholars out there, that word panta has three significant meanings. It's either summative, it's either implicative, or it's either what is the next word? Distributive. And so those are the three type of theological implications of that word. But essentially, the word means all-inclusive, totality, a summation of all things. Paul is saying that all things work together for good to those who love God, that are called, to those who are called according to His purpose. Now, I am imagining that you believe you're called of God. You believe that God has called your life. God has purposed your life. God has given you essence. God has given you intrinsic value. And as a result of that, you might be going through something that is, quite frankly, hell on earth. But I want to encourage you today in this telegram to tell you that circumstances alter conditions. But even those circumstances alter conditions, God never alters. And God is still there. God is still your strength. God is still your shield. God is still your shelter. God is still everything you absolutely need. So on this particular day, go to Him. Hang on to Him. Grab onto His hand and believe that He's got your back. So until the next time, this is Pastor Tello reminded you that thoughts do change lives.